So hey there, welcome back, and today we are going to solve another contest, and today we are going to discuss a weekly contest 508 and talking about the contest questions. So the contest second problem I really like because it is something which there is some concept which we already, like most of us have learned, which is used in that particular problem, but it also teaches us a little bit of something different which help us to solve more such problems in future, right? So without wasting time, let's get started. So let's start with the first problem. It is marked as medium, but it is not a medium problem. Only there is only a few things which someone who's solving this problem need to take care of, right? So I will discuss it first. Let's understand what the problem is. That maximum total sum of k selected elements. Got it? Like you are given an integer array nums and two integer k and multiply. Select exactly k elements from nums. Process these elements one by one in any order you choose. Got it? Each selected elements independently choose one of the following. Add elements value to the total sum, or multiply the element by the current value of multiply and add the result to the total sum. After processing each element, multiply decreases by 1 regardless of which options was choose. The current value of multiply becomes 0 or negative. Got it? Return an integer denoting the maximum possible total sum. Right. So what problem saying is that we have given an integer array which contains some number of elements. We have k and we have a multiply. We have to choose exactly k number of elements from the nums, right? And when we are choosing the elements, we also have multiple. There is a variable which we use to multiply with the nums of array. Either we choose it or we not choose it, right? So let's see that they chooses a 3 elements, which is 9, 6 and 2. For the first time, we multiply 9 by 2 because the multiple value of multiply is 2, so it gives an 18. Now we decrement multiply by 1 because if you see, they clearly mention that after using at every operations, the value of multiply is going to decrease by 1, right? And for the next time value is 1, and for the third time you see multiply is already 0, but we want a maximum total sum, so there is no point of using the maximum multiply over here because it is going to decrease or make our value 0, which is not going to add any value to our result, right? So we will simply ignore it because they already mentioned that either you can choose it or not choose it, right? So this is what the problem asking us to do. It is quite easy that we just have to pick k elements and make sure we want a maximum result. So it is always better to sort an array, right? After sorting in an array, we get an element. Like I will write it over here for more better understanding, right? So if you see, this is an array, so I want the maximum, right? So how I'll get maximum? So first of all, I sort an array, right? Now my arrays look like this, right? And I will process from the back because at every point, even if the value is multiply is 1, I will definitely choose the maximum value so that it will give me the maximum result. So I choose the last element, which is 9, multiply with multiple, then 6 multiply with multiple, then 2 multiply with multiple, right? So these are the elements which we are going to choose. So this is the whole idea behind this particular problem, and how we are going to achieve it. So this is also quite simple, right? We are just sorting an array because at the end we want a maximum elements, and we are starting from the back so that we will at every point of time we will get the maximum value, right? So this is one of the this is nothing but just a formula to actually get all the kth element from the back. And I'm also checking if the value of multiply is 0, because as we discussed, if the multiply is 0, then there is no sense of using it inside our answer, because at the end it is going to make our result at the end it is not going to add any value to our result, right? So that's why we are just ignoring it. And otherwise, if the value of multiply is it's greater than 0, then we are simply multiplying with the current element. Otherwise, we are just simply adding that particular element inside our answer. So this is the whole idea behind this particular problem, which is quite simple, right? They shouldn't mark it as medium. They can be marked as easy as well, right? Because it is quite easy, right? So this is working fine. Talking about the time complexity, which is n log n, because we have sorted an array, right? And there is no space complexity, so which is over 1. So this is about the first problem. Let's move to the second problem. This is interesting. right? So the problem description is too much, so sometimes it also make difficult for the people to actually understand, okay, what exactly the problem is trying to say and what the main purpose, right? Initially it feels like difficult, but once you read it you get a whole idea. So instead of reading all those stuffs, like I will just explain you in the, like, with the help of example. So what exactly they are saying, that they are saying we have a number of intervals, which is, I will copy it from here. So they are basically saying that we have number of intervals, which there are two things, that either they are overlapping, right? Either they are overlapping or they are touching each other. What it mean? Let's say first interval is starting at this point and the second interval is starting at this point, so they are also, we also need to merge them as well, merge them as well, right? So this is what they are saying. And the overlapping, which we all know, that if the first interval is starting at this point and the second interval is starting at this point, so the second interval is starting from 4, so we also need to merge both of the intervals to form the result as this, right? So we have occupied intervals which either contain these two values, so we need to like merge all those overlapping, either they are overlapping or either they are touching. So that's what we have to do. So this is the first thing which we have to achieve. And the second thing, what the problem is saying, that we also have something called free start, and like take any value, and free end. They indicate that at this point of time we are free, because these are the interval at that time we are not free, but these are the two interval at the time we are free. So what we have to do, first we have to perform this operation on the occupied intervals, and whatever the value we get, we just have to remove the presence of this particular interval from the result, right? So this is the exactly problem they are asking. If you see the example, you see these are the intervals, right? And after merging, the occupied intervals are these are the occupied intervals, and now we have to exclude the free intervals. So what is the free interval? Ranges from 7 to 11, so we just simply result in 2 to 6, 12 to 12, 14 to 16. So this is what we have to do. First we have to merge the intervals, and second we have to exclude the free intervals, right? So how to actually come up with the solution of such problem, right? So one thing which I learned while solving such problem and solving LeetCode from so long time, that whenever there is a problem related to intervals, right? So whenever there is a problem related to intervals, so always think about sorting, because that will help you a lot, and most of the time it work, right? What means by sorting? Either sort the interval based on start time or end time, because these are help you a lot to actually solve such problem, because we are actually going to merge the intervals, so there should be some interval which are overlapping, and how we are actually going to see if they are continuously coming, right? What I mean, that let's say if the interval is coming like this, then it is easy for us to apply the condition and simply merge them, right? But let's say if the interval is like this, so interval is something like 11, right? 1, 4. So there is no particular sequence like how we are going to approach. So always do a sorting either based on a start time or end time, right? And the one thing which I'm talking about regarding this particular thing is that how to make sure that if the particular interval is like overlapping or not. So there is one thing which we use, so let's write it with the help of this. So let's say one interval is starting from here to here, and the another interval is starting from here to here, right? And let's just write the values. Let's say it is 1 and it is ending at 3, it is 2 and it is ending at 4, right? So you see the intervals are overlapping at which particular point. The intervals are at this point are overlapping, if you see. So the intervals are overlapping. So how we can actually check this with the help of code, and what the logic we are going to say, right? So let's see. Let's say the first interval values are I will like take as let's say S as 1 and E as 3. This is the first interval, right? And the second S1 as 2 and 1 as 4, right? So this is the interval which we have, right? So how we are going to say we are going to take, so if you see these are the start and these are the end, how we can actually think and how we like we are actually going to make sure that the intervals are overlapping. So if you see the 2 is coming before 3, right? So this gives us some idea that okay, 2 is already come before 3, but 2 is coming inside the range of the another interval. So in order to solve this, we have a particular formula which most of the time work, that find the maximum of S and S1, right, which is 2, right, which means the maximum value of the starting is 2, and find the minimum from the end. Minimum is 3, E and even, which is 4, right? And if the value is, let's say if this value is less than 4, which means 2 is less than 4, if there is a case, that means there is some overlapping happening, and you can already see that, right? So what we have used the formula that we are taking the maximum of start and we are taking the minimum of end. That will gives that okay, which interval starting at earliest and which interval ending at earliest, right? So this is what we are doing over here. So that's the basically the formula which we use to find the merge. So with this we have done the first step. So this is the first step. We done the merging part, right? We done the merging part, and now what the second step is look like. But make sure that first thing which I had told you, that first we need to sort our interval so that we can use this particular formula, otherwise it won't work, right? So we done we will call sorting as first step. This is step 1. Merging is step 2, right? Now the third is that we have a free time and we have to exclude that, right? So the third step is we have something called like free start and free end, and we have to exclude this from our interval, right? So what we can do, we just simply do the same stuff which we done over here, right? But make sure that there is some cases which we need to take care of. What cases? That okay, when the value is going to be overlap, so there is two possibility, right? If you see, right, so if you see let's take this an example. So these are the value after merging, right? And what are the free value as, which is 7 and 11. So these are the free values which we have, right? And after that, let's use it with the first interval. The same formula we can use over here as well, right? So if you see with 2 and 8, if I write it with the help of this, so 7 is also coming like this, right? So 2 is coming here and 8 is coming here, 7 is coming here and 11 is coming here, right? So you see they are overlapping, as our formula also work over here, that maximum of this and minimum of this is less than. Oh, got it? These are also working fine. So this is also working. So now we have to exclude the interval, right? So this is the first case. So whenever there is a case that when the value of the start is less than the end, or like you can say that either you can compare with the start or either you can compare with the end. So make sure that if such scenario occur, so always preserve the start, and what the value of end is look like, the value of end is always be the free start. This is free start minus 1, right? Because we have to exclude, right? You see this part is coming in the range, like this part is actually coming in the interval, but we don't want, so we want interval till this particular point, so that this is the interval which we going to exclude, include in our answer. So this is what we are doing. We are preserving the start, but we are changing the end value, right? And similar thing, there is another case, that the another case I will write like there. So the first is 7 and 8, which is 7 and 11, and the second is 10 to 12, right? I will write it with here, sorry for that. So this is 7 and this is 11, this is 10 and this is 12. See, so here also there is the problem of merging, right? You see, so in this case what we will do, here you see that the first interval is coming inside this particular range, like inside this particular range, and we want to exclude that particular part. So what we have done, we preserve the start and we change the value of end, right? Here you see the starting is mostly covered by our free time, right? But here we have something like, if you see, so but this is the time which we can use, right? Because this is the time which we will get after we will exclude this particular whole interval. So this is the result what we want. So here you see we have to change the value of start, and is always same, we have to change the value of start. So what the values look like, so in this case the start is what is the value of free and plus 1, and our and value is always same. So this is the two thing which we need to take care of while merging with the free start and the free end, right? So this is the second thing, and let's see the code for the better understanding that what exactly we are discussing over here. So you see, so the first thing which I have done, I just sorted an intervals based on start time, and if they are equal then based on the end time, right? Just a fallback. After that I just created a merge list which is going to store the merge result, and this is the standard format of using the merge intervals problem. If you have solved, and if you like probably you have learned and solved such problem related to merge intervals, so this is the quite simple and similar as well. Well, we are finding the current interval value, and we are checking if the current interval value is coming in the range, or either I am doing n plus 1 because they also mention that there is the case of when the touch should also be merged, right? So that's why I am doing n plus 1. If it is the case, then simply storing the maximum value, otherwise we're just storing that particular value inside result. And this is the case when we are storing the last interval, right? So this is the case, and after that now the case where we are using free start and free end, right? So this is the particular formula formula, I'm just talking about the approach. So this is the case when the interval is not overlapping, which is out of the range, then we are simply storing inside our result. Otherwise there are two cases which I have discussed over here. The first is this one and the second is this one. So the same thing which we have written over here, that if the start of the current interval is less than the free start, right, which is this part, right? So in that case we are preserving our start value, but we are changing the end value, right? And here same, if the end is greater than the free end, then we are preserving the end value and we are changing the free end plus 1. So this is the idea behind this particular problem, and I just run it for understanding that okay, everything is working fine. So this is the second problem, which is quite good and quite interesting because you have to think about a lot of test cases. If you haven't solved merge interval problem, then there might be some problem that you face while solving this particular problem, right? So yeah, this is it about this particular problem and about the contest. So problems are pretty good. These things are really interesting. If you are not able to understand the second part, do watch the video again. Do use your like copy and pen and write the test cases the similar way which I explained you over here. You will get to know about exactly what is working and why it is working, right? So this is the second problem. Talking about the time complexity, so which is also O of this take O of n log n, this take O of n, and this is also take O of n. So overall the time complexity is O of n log n, right? So this is the time complexity, and the space complexity, you can say the number of interval which we have used, so which is also O of n, you can say, right, plus O of n, because we have created two different array list to store the result. So this is the time and the space complexity of this particular problem, right? So if you're not able to understand it, do write the test cases by your own self, because initially it might feel difficult while reading all those stuff, because it is really confusing, but once you understand the problem, you actually got to know okay, what exactly is working and why it is working, right? So this is the whole idea behind this particular problem. Do watch the video again, do the test cases by your own self. You will actually got to know what exactly is happening. And if you not know about merge interval problem, then do learn that particular technique. It will help you a lot in solving such more problems, even in interview and even in online assessment as well. So this is it for the video, and I hope you like the video. If you are able to understand, do let me know in the comment section. If you have any particular problem, if you have any particular suggestion, question, drop the comments so that I got to know what problem you are facing. And this is it about today contest, and until then, bye bye, take care.